I love this. Jamar Chase recently spoke out when interviewed concerning the Bengals' 2-2 start. We're going to discuss his comments and why it's important for the team to heed these words if they're able to keep their playoff hopes alive going into this 2025 season. Welcome to the jungle. This is Isaac Coffman with Bengals Digest. Happy to see all you Bengals fans. And if you want to be up to date with all things Bengals, join the community, smash that subscribe button down below. We are on our way to 3,000 subscribers. We thank each one of you. We appreciate your thoughts. We enjoy hearing from you guys. So make sure you hit that subscribe if you have not already. And a big announcement for our Digest Media. We want to make you aware. Have you ever wanted to break into the sports media as a writer or a content creator? Digest Media has a bunch of openings across 4 major sports right now in North America, and it's growing. So we're looking for passionate fans, creators, storytellers who live and breathe sports. If that sounds like you, we have openings for the Browns, the Cavs, Reds, and Guardians. If you are interested, head on over. There's a link down below for sign up. If you want to be a part of the team, you'll find it linked in the description and pinned in the comments as well. We can't wait to see what you got. So going back to Jamar Chase, it's very interesting how this team is at a crossroads of sorts. Sitting at 2-2 without your star quarterback, Joe Burrow, they've looked lost. It is not any kind of surprise. It's not a secret. Everybody has seen it. The Bengals have been struggling when it comes to getting offense going. And that's the last thing that you would think this team would be struggling with. The defense was what was the problem last year, where they were inconsistent. They just couldn't get the stops that they needed to, where those close games, they were losing them because of the last drive, the defense not able to step up. So what is the Bengals to do? What is the things they need to fix? Unfortunately, it's not just one fix. It's from top to bottom. They have been struggling, whether it's on offense. The defense, although maybe it shows flashes at signs of maybe getting those stops, they still have not been consistent, something they still are working the kinks out of. And even special teams has been showing its struggles. So what are the Bengals to do? Well, Jamar Chase has somewhat of an answer. He was talking about how this team is lacking fire and anger in the locker room. And I love this. I love to hear this coming from Jamar Chase, because with Joe Burrow out for about 3 months, possibly more, it's still kind of we're holding our breath. We're waiting to see what is the timetable. Is Joe Burrow going to come back in time? In the meantime, Jamar Chase has been kind of stepping up as that vocal leader. This is what he had to say when it came to what the Bengals need to do to get things going. He says, I want guys to play with passion. I want them to play with anger, because you never know how guys may respond. I told my guys that recently. After the game, I just want them to play a little more fire and anger. Again, I love this. This is your star wide receiver. And for the most part, Jamar Chase hasn't been that vocal guy. You hear it from Zack Taylor, from Joe Burrow. They're kind of the ones that are meeting with the press more. They're talking about it the most. Hearing this from Jamar Chase, that's what I love. I love to see, with Joe Burrow out, someone else needs to step up. Somebody needs to step in and be that vocal part of the locker room, and to tell guys, hey, you're not playing with the fire and the passion that we need to get this train on the right track, to correct things. Because right now, again, it's really in shambles. I mean, it's really crazy how the Bengals have been outscored. It's around 76-13 in the last 2 games. Unheard of. Just crazy to think that's how much this offense has been. They haven't been putting up the points, but to put it in perspective of how much the defense has also been giving up points, it's just a perfect, disaster going on. The worst case scenario that you can imagine. But hearing these comments from Jamar Chase, this is where it's do or die. 2-2, the Bengals are sitting. The confidence level, it continues to dip when it comes to the fan base. The fans are seeing, without Joe Burrow, they are lacking a leader. Obviously, the production on the field, but it feels like there hasn't been someone kind of stepping up and giving the nudge that this team needs. Getting that thought of, we need to play with fire. We need to have anger. that's what has also been kind of frustrating for fans to watch. If you watch these games that they've lost, where they were blown out by Minnesota, where they were just dominated by Denver, it was that lack of fire. It was almost like they had no motivation out there. And that's what's frustrating as a fan. If you get beat, you get beat. But if you see your team, the Bengals, they look lost. They just don't have the energy. That is a tough watch. That's just tough. Sometimes you can go out there and get beat and say, you know what? It just was not our day. What do? It just, sometimes it's, as I say, any given Sunday, this is the NFL. Any team can beat you if you are not prepared, if you aren't ready to go. And that's where they need to nip this in the bud. They need to turn things around right now if they're going to be able to save their season. Really, that's what it comes down to. And if Jamar Chase is going to be the one that kind of gives them that spark, gives them that little fire, I'm all for it. I mean, you got to have something. You got to have something. So far, what has been going on has not been working. And if it's a lack of just motivation, I'm interested to see. As much as this is the underdog of the year, I would say, the way the Bengals have been playing, they're playing at home, but against a Detroit team that, frankly, they're going to be Super Bowl contenders. They're going to continue to be regarded as the team to beat in the NFC. They've been showing it so far. They look like a more complete team, a team that, as Bengals fans, if you thought, hey, that defense is going to improve, probably what you were expecting them to look like is this Detroit Lions team. But they've been showing nothing like that. And here's where it gets interesting. If you look back at the pressure that this team is going to be under, I found the stat very interesting when it came to the Zack Taylor era without Joe Burrow. Just not good. It's not good. When you look at the numbers here, his win percentage is just... What do? You have, before Joe Burrow, because Zack Taylor was here the year before he was drafted, they went 2-14. Just that's what got you Joe Burrow, frankly. That number 1 overall pick, that's what got you there, the 2-14 record. So Burrow, he had his ACL injury. It's just a devastating injury. Once he went down, they went 1-8-1. Not good. Not good there, but you figure, okay, this is still Zack Taylor in the early stages. This is 19 and 20, those years. What about 2023? That was after the wrist injury to Burrow. 1-7. Oh, okay, it's not getting good, right? So far, 2025, 0-2. We've seen this before. We've seen this story before. When it comes to what this team needs, honestly, Zack Taylor is going to be under the microscope when it comes to what do they do from here. You're at a crossroads, like I say. This is where, again, 2-2, the chances of them turning this thing around, it's do or die. Really, it is. And how much more pressure can you have? Going back to, this is the Detroit Lions. They're a complete team. So we're going to have to hold our breath, see if Jamar Chase's comments, if anything, I think the fan base is looking for some kind of improvement, because the last 2 weeks, they're not cutting it. It's not going to be a quick turnaround. I don't believe that to be the case. I think it's going to be a gradual. If they are going to turn the season around, it's going to take still a couple weeks for them to get to where they can without Joe Burrow. I feel like they can produce. I'm not going to say they're going to go out there and be this elite team, but they still have a shot at the playoffs. As much as it's frustrating to see this team, 2-2, they are far from out of it. It's just a matter of, do they have the tools to turn this around? Do they have the motivation? Starting with what Jamar Chase said with this team and just getting their heads right. That's what it comes down to. Start there, start building around, start rallying around each other. We've seen teams do that. The underdogs of the league. They just lack the motivation. Sometimes they get the right mindset, and you never know. Any given Sunday is what they say. That's what I'll go back to. But in the meantime, I love what Jamar Chase is doing. I hope he continues to be a little more of that vocal leader in that locker room, because it feels like that's what they've been lacking the most. That's what's been the most frustrating, watching this team without motivation. If they can go out there without motivation, let's see what they got. Well, we hear from you guys. What do you think of the comments from Jamar Chase? What do you think of the season? Again, 2-2, going into a tough matchup at home against the Detroit Lions. Leave your predictions, your thoughts, your confidence, all that. We want to hear from you guys below. And again, be sure you smash that subscribe button to be up to date on all things Bengals and to see when our new videos drop. So that's going to do it for now, guys. As we say, Uday.